You found your highest ROI build. You scoped it small enough to actually ship. And now, the part almost nobody does well. The part that decides whether this build quietly pays you for years or quietly dies on a shelf you stop looking at. You ship it, and then you have to find out, honestly, whether it's working. Not whether it feels like it's working, whether it is. So here's what I'm going to give you in the next few minutes. A loop: build, measure, improve. And exactly how to run each turn of it inside your own business. How to set a baseline before you ship, so you have something real to measure against. How to read the 3 things the numbers can tell you once it's live. How to decide on the evidence whether to double down on this build or cut it loose. And how to pick the one improvement that actually moves the return, instead of polishing the parts that don't. By the end, you'll be able to take the build in front of you and run it like an operator who knows whether it's paying, not one who's hoping. And I want to be straight about why this is the lesson and not an afterthought. Finding the leverage point, the place in your business where the value lives, that's half the work. The other half is what you put in after you ship, measuring what actually changed and steering the build toward the version that pays. That second half is real work. AI is not set it and forget it. There's no autopilot where you ship version 1 and the returns just roll in. You ship, you measure, you find the gap, you improve, you measure again. That loop is the execution, and it's what turns a build that looks done into a build that's actually paying. Skip it, and you've done half the job and gotten half the return, if that. Let's run the loop. It has 3 moves, and they go in order, over and over. Build, measure, improve. You already know how to build. That's the rest of this method. So the 2 moves we're going to get right here are the ones operators skip: how to measure honestly and how to improve deliberately. Start with measure because it comes first, and it actually starts before you ship. Here's the move almost everyone gets wrong. They ship the build, and a few weeks later, they try to figure out if it helped. And they can't, because they never wrote down where they started. You cannot measure a change if you don't know the before. So the very first thing you do before the build goes live is capture the baseline. Take the one number this build is supposed to move and write down what it is today, while the old way is still running. Automating support replies. The number is your average first response time this week. If it's sitting at 24 hours, write down 24 hours today before the build touches anything. Speeding up onboarding. It's how long it takes a new customer to reach their first real result. Measure the last handful. Lifting content output. It's how many finished pieces your team ships in a week right now. Whatever the build is for, find the one number it's meant to change and capture it cold before anything's different. And if you've already shipped and you forgot to capture it, stop and go reconstruct it as honestly as you can from whatever records you've got. Because here's the hard truth: no baseline, no return. You cannot stand in front of yourself or a client or your own books and say, this build cut our response time in half, if you never measured what your response time was to begin with. A real number with a baseline behind it is worth far more than a confident "things feel faster now." Because one you can defend, and the other is just a feeling wearing a number. The baseline is what makes everything after it true. Now you ship, and once it's live, you measure the same number the same way on a regular rhythm. Weekly is usually right. Same number, same method. So you're comparing like for like and not fooling yourself with a different measuring stick each time. And give it room. Don't judge the build on its first week. AI builds very often get better in the weeks right after launch because you're tuning them. You're sharpening the instructions, catching the cases it handled badly, smoothing the rough spots. So the curve climbs. Week 1 might be giving you half of what it'll eventually do, and by week 4, instructions tightened, edge cases handled, it's running at full strength. The early reads are real, but they're the floor, not the ceiling. Give it a few weeks of honest measurement before you draw any hard conclusions. Week 1 is the build finding its feet. A month in is the build, showing you what it's actually worth. And as those weeks come in, the numbers will tell you one of 3 stories. Learn to read them, because each one points at a different move. The first story, the build landed. The number moved the way you hoped, or close to it. That 24-hour response time is down to 4. Call it the 6 times improvement you were chasing. Your output climbed, the thing you were trying to change actually changed. This is the good news, and it's also a signal, not a finish line. A build that's clearly paying is a build worth pushing further. You don't walk away from it, you double down on it. That's where the next move comes in, and we'll get there. The second story. The build landed partway. The number moved, but not as far as you expected. That 24-hour time came down to 12, say, which is a real cut in half, just softer than the 4 hours you were counting on. This is the most common story, and it's the one that needs a clear head. Because partway isn't failure, and it isn't success. It's a decision. Either there's more in here worth going after, or what you've already got is good enough to bank and move on from. You don't drift on this one. You decide. The third story, the build didn't land. You measured, and the number barely moved. 24 hours crept to 22, basically noise. Or it didn't move at all. This is the one operators handle worst, because admitting a build didn't work feels like admitting you wasted the effort. But dragging a build that isn't paying is how you actually waste the effort. Every week you spend nursing it is a week you're not spending on the next build that could have paid. The honest move here is to call it cleanly. Dig in once to understand why it missed, and then either fix that specific reason fast or cut it. Write down what you learned and go put your energy somewhere it'll compound. So now you've measured and you know which story you're in. That's where the third move of the loop kicks in. Improve. And the whole game here is improving the right thing. Because here's the trap. Once a build is live, there are always a dozen things you could improve. A nicer interface, a new feature someone asked for, a rough edge that's been bugging you. And most operators improve whatever's most annoying, or most fun, or most visible. That's the wrong filter. The right filter is the return. Look at your measurement and ask, where is the build leaving money on the table right now? What's the single biggest gap between what this is doing and what it could do? That gap is your next improvement, not the prettiest fix, the highest leverage one. If you're in the first story, the build's paying. Then improving means extending the win. Take the same build and stretch its reach. Handle the next slice of the work it isn't touching yet, or point the same leverage at a second place in the business where it'll pay again. You've proven the pattern works. Now you compound it. That's how one build that pays becomes a build that keeps paying more. If you're in the second story, the partway one, then improving means closing the gap you decided was worth closing. And the gap is usually one of 3 places, so check them in order. 1, the instructions. Often, the build is doing roughly the right work, just not sharply enough, and tightening what you tell it with the real examples you've now seen closes a surprising amount of the gap. 2, the scope. Maybe it's solid on the easy bulk of the work, but falling down on the cases that actually matter. And the fix is teaching it those specific cases, the ones you can now name because you watched it miss them. 3, the measurement itself. Sometimes, the build is doing better than your number shows, and you're measuring the wrong thing. The fix is measuring what actually matters. Diagnose which of the 3 it is, fix that one, give it a fair, time-boxed run, and measure again. Don't hover over it for months. Close the gap that moves the number most, or bank what you've got and move on. And then you're back at the top of the loop. You measure again, against the same baseline, and you see whether the improvement moved the number. That's the whole engine. And each turn, the build gets sharper and the return gets bigger. That's not busy work. That's the feedback discipline from the method, pointed straight at the money. You measure, you learn, the next version pays more than the last. Here's the line to take with you, because it's the one operators miss. The measurement isn't the chore at the end of the build. The measurement is the asset. It's the thing that tells you whether to push or to cut. The thing that earns this build its next version. The thing that proves to yourself and to anyone else that what you built actually paid. Without it, you're guessing. And guessing doesn't compound. With it, every build teaches the next one. That's how an operator turns one good build into a business that keeps getting better at building. That's the in-business loop. You can find the leverage, you can scope it, you can put a number on it, and now you can run it. Ship, measure, improve, and do it again. One piece of the course left, and it's the close, where real ROI wraps, and where you'll see exactly where to go next to take all of this deeper. I'll see you there. If you want proof this loop holds at full size, it's how I work, not a theory I'm selling you. Go look at ScaleBoss, a production business operating system, real companies running on it, built on a budget that used to be flat out impossible, and Revistack, the one I'm building in public right now. Neither one was right on version 1. They got good because the work got measured. What was working got pushed, what wasn't got cut, and the parts that paid kept getting better. Same loop you just learned, just bigger. Go look at them when you want to see where this goes. But first, come finish the course. It's the next one, and it's the close.